Fever, no! Bow! Also, would you guys look at this cute little denim set for Ozzy? In case you guys want to see him in it. Is that not so cute? Yes! Let's stand a dove column! Big dove!
Nobody saw this coming. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, the Indiana Fever were written off before the game even started. No Clark, no chance. That's what everyone thought. But what happened next shocked the entire WNBA. The Fever didn't just survive without their star, they destroyed the defending champions.
What have you seen the last two games in particular against the Wings and the Lynx of the growth of this team without Caitlin on the floor?
I think first and foremost, defensively, we've been better. And that's continuing to build consistency in our coverages, have a high attention to detail in everything that we do. I think our activity, our awareness has been better on the defensive end as well. We've done a better job of protecting the paint. Now we've still got to improve in defending without fouling.
A 27-point blowout that flipped the script, exposed the critics, and proved this team is way more than one player. Kelsey Mitchell turned into a one-woman highlight reel. Aliyah Boston looked unstoppable. And the Fever's defense? Ruthless. This was more than a win. It was a warning. If you thought this team needed Caitlin Clark to compete, think again. Stay with us, because we're breaking down exactly how the Indiana Fever just rewrote their entire season, and maybe the league, under the bright lights of Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
We talked about, we just made sure that our energy was high, made sure that we were focused, because obviously we know Vegas is a great team and they're a team full of winners. And so for us, it's make sure that we turn the page off of a great Commissioner's Cup success, and then we have to be ready for Vegas, and we were.
The Indiana Fever delivered one of the most astonishing upsets in recent WNBA history, dismantling the Las Vegas Aces by 27 points in a game where all odds were stacked against them. Caitlin Clark, the team's centerpiece and floor general, was sidelined with a groin injury, leaving many to doubt whether the Fever could even stay competitive, let alone win. The victory was more than a scoreboard shocker. It was a complete team statement. The Fever had not beaten the Aces since 2019, and with a depleted lineup and major pieces missing, expectations were low. However, what transpired on the court defied all projections. The Fever not only won, they dominated from the opening tip, leaving fans, analysts, and even the Aces stunned by the sheer force of their performance. This one wasn't just a fluke. It was a redefining moment for a team long overshadowed by struggles and rebuilding phases. With Clark cheering from the sidelines, Indiana showcased a level of resolve and chemistry that suggested they were no longer just a team waiting for one star to carry them. They were a collective force to be reckoned with. Kelsey Mitchell emerged as the emotional and tactical leader of the night, taking on the scoring burden with fierce determination. From her first three-point shot to her final assist, she played like someone who had been preparing her entire career for this moment. Known for her sharp shooting, Mitchell lit up the scoreboard and provided the offensive spark the Fever so desperately needed without Clark. Her leadership wasn't just about scoring, it was about setting the tone, rallying her teammates, and keeping the momentum alive even when Las Vegas attempted to mount a comeback. After the game, her heartfelt statement, "We deserve it," resonated far beyond the locker room. Those three words weren't just an emotional outburst, they were a declaration of identity, of growth, of earned respect. Mitchell didn't just fill in for an absent star, she asserted herself as one. Her ability to consistently break down the Aces' defense, find her teammates in rhythm, and knock down difficult shots under pressure was a masterclass in veteran leadership and composure. Aliyah Boston, meanwhile, delivered a performance that confirmed her status as a franchise cornerstone. For much of the season, her potential had been overshadowed by limited touches and the natural growing pains of adapting to the pros. But against the Aces, she was dominant. Boston outmaneuvered Asia Wilson in the post, scored efficiently, rebounded aggressively, and anchored the Fever's interior both offensively and defensively. Her footwork, positioning, and timing allowed her to exploit mismatches and create opportunities even in double coverage. Without Clark facilitating, Boston became the focal point of half-court sets, and she rose to the occasion with the kind of poise that reminded everyone why she was so highly touted. Her chemistry with Mitchell, particularly on pick and rolls and interior passes, kept the Aces' defense on its heels. This wasn't just a good game for Boston, it was a coming-out party that signaled her readiness to be a dominant force in the WNBA for years to come. Defensively, the Fever set the tone early and never let up. Indiana held the Las Vegas Aces to just 26% shooting from the floor, a staggering figure for a team led by the reigning MVP. The Fever's defensive strategy was both disciplined and aggressive. They switched seamlessly on screens, doubled A'ja Wilson on every touch, and closed out on shooters with intensity. Players like Natasha Howard, Ari McDonald, and Lexi Hull provided relentless pressure, forcing turnovers and disrupting Las Vegas rhythm. Even when questionable calls from the referees appeared to favor Wilson, the Fever stayed locked in, refusing to let officiating break their momentum. The collective commitment to defensive effort was evident in every possession. It wasn't just about stopping the Aces, it was about sending a message. Every blocked shot, every deflection, every contested jumper was part of a broader display of unity and toughness that had been missing from this team in previous seasons. Natasha Howard's veteran presence was critical in maintaining that composure and energy. As the reigning Commissioner's Cup MVP, Howard brought both experience and leadership to the floor, and she delivered on both fronts. Her defensive rotations were precise, her rebounding was aggressive, and her ability to alter shots in the paint was essential in keeping the Aces off balance. Offensively, she didn't force shots but instead worked within the flow of the game, often finishing plays set up by Mitchell or Boston. Her stat line only told part of the story. Her impact was in the way she directed younger teammates, held players accountable on switches, and embodied the kind of quiet leadership that championship-caliber teams are built on. With Howard as the anchor, the Fever's frontcourt looked composed and connected, even under the bright lights and against elite competition. The absence of Caitlin Clark forced a complete shift in the Fever's offensive identity. Known for her fast break pace, deep shooting, and court vision, Clark had been the engine of Indiana's offense. Without her, the team had to abandon its usual up-tempo style and instead rely on more structured half-court sets. Initially, this adjustment looked like a setback. Pace slowed, and ball movement became stagnant. However, as the game progressed, the Fever adapted. They emphasized inside-out play, ran more deliberate sets through Boston, and allowed Mitchell to operate with freedom on the perimeter. The result was a slower but more balanced attack. While it lacked Clark's fireworks, it was efficient and disciplined, which proved to be exactly what was needed against a defensively sound Aces squad. This forced evolution may end up benefiting the team long-term, as it expanded the roles and confidence of multiple players beyond Clark's immediate orbit. One of the biggest surprises of the night was the Fever's ability to maintain offensive rhythm without their usual transition game. In past outings, Clark's quick outlet passes and push-the-pace mentality had fueled high-scoring runs. In her absence, the Fever had to generate offense from patience, ball movement, and good shot selection. They accomplished this through crisp execution, unselfish passing, and a renewed focus on fundamentals. The team got quality looks by running structured plays, using screens effectively, and capitalizing on defensive lapses. While their pace slowed, their efficiency remained high. Players like Lexi Hull hit timely shots, and Ari McDonald slashed to the rim with confidence. These performances proved that Indiana could succeed in multiple styles of play, a versatility that will only serve them well once Clark returns to the lineup. The environment at Gainbridge Fieldhouse played a major role in lifting the Fever's energy throughout the game. The crowd, sensing both the stakes and the underdog narrative, created an electric atmosphere from start to finish. Every defensive stop, every made basket was met with deafening cheers, creating a home court advantage that felt palpable. This support wasn't just noise, it was fuel. The players responded visibly to the crowd's energy, diving for loose balls, celebrating each other's big plays, and communicating more confidently on the floor. After years of struggling with attendance and engagement, the Fever are finally building a bond with their fan base that mirrors their growth as a team.
700th career assist.
Thanks for making me look good, lady. Thanks for making me look good. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Tosh, 52nd career double-double.
This game wasn't just a win, it was a cultural shift signaling that Indiana basketball is back and the fans are fully behind it. In a season marked by uncertainty and transition, this game became a benchmark for what the Indiana Fever are capable of becoming. Their 27-point rout of the league's most dominant team didn't just shake up the standings, it forced a re-evaluation of what this roster can accomplish. Players who were once viewed as secondary options stepped into starring roles. The team didn't just survive adversity, they were forged by it. For a team that had struggled to find consistency and identity, this game provided both. The narrative has now shifted. The Fever are no longer just Caitlin Clark's team. They're a cohesive, battle-tested squad with the tools to win now and the pieces to contend well into the future. This transformation wasn't gradual. It happened in one unforgettable night. As Kelsey Mitchell's final three swished through the net and the buzzer sounded, the realization set in. This win had changed everything. The celebration was emotional. Players embraced, coaches exhaled, and fans stood in appreciation of a team that had finally turned a corner. "We deserve it," Mitchell had said, and it rang true in every sense. This wasn't just about beating the Aces. It was about beating expectations, breaking through limitations, and redefining what the Fever stand for. With Clark's return on the horizon and a newly awakened roster at the ready, the WNBA may soon have to contend with a version of the Indiana Fever that's deeper, tougher, and far more dangerous than anyone imagined.